So now look at how to use various operations using string. We can count the length of the string by using the function called len and then parentheses. We have to pass the string in these parentheses, and by running it, the length of the string is shown in the output. We can index the string as that Python can use indexes to call the part of the sequence. First, we need to assign the string to a variable. We assign hello world to the variable s, and when we call our s variable, the string is returned. We can print the object of this s. Now let's start with indexing. We have to show the first element, in this case a letter. We will type in our code that the variable name in the square brackets, the index is starting from 0. So to show the first element, that is 0th index, we pass 0 in the square brackets on this s variable. So on running, the letter h of this string is returned. So when we need to find the second letter, we passed on the index as 1, and when we run it, e is returned. Same as for 2 index, l is returned. We can use a colon to perform slicing, which grab everything up to a designated point. For example, we grab everything past the first term all the way to the length of s, which is len and s. So here we show that the string will return the sliced string starting from one index to the length of the string, as we have not given our designated point here. So the string will be sliced from first index to the last of the string. When we run it, only the 0th index will be left out, and starting from the first index and the last index will be returned. And we note that there is no change in the original s. So when we run it, our s remains unchanged. And say if we have to grab everything up to the third index, by not providing any number in our starting point, the default is set to the 0th index, and the 3 here shows that up to the 3 index will be returned. So when we run it, up to the third index, the 0th, 1st and 2nd, up to the 3 index is returned in our string. So if we have to return everything, we show that s and colon. This specifies that starting point is 0th index and the last point is the length of the string. When we run it, the full string is returned. We can also use negative indexing to go backwards. So what if we have to access the last letter and our string is of very large length, the one index behind 0, so it loops back around. So when we run it, d is returned from our string. And if we grab everything but leaving the last letter, this shows that the last letter will be left out and the remaining string will be passed. When we run it, the last letter is left out and the remaining string is written. We use index and slice notation to grab the elements of a sequence by specified step size. The default is set to 1. For instance, we can use 2 columns in a row and then a number specifying the frequency to grab elements. For example, here we show that the starting and the ending point is set to 0th index and the length of the string. And the one here showed that the step size is of 1. So when we run it, the string is written. So the step size of 2 shows that the first element, then plus 2 element, then plus 2, and then the string is returned. We can also use this to print a string backwards by putting the step size to -1. So when we run it, the string is reversed.